All right, the January 15th, 2026 meeting of the Greasetown Board will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Supervisor McCann?
Here.
Councilman DePonzio?
Present.
Councilman Bernard?
Here.
Councilwoman Miller? Present. Councilman Antelli?
Okay. Okay, would you please stand? Councilwoman Miller will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll now have a moment of silent prayer. All right, thank you. There are no proclamations or additions or deletions to the agenda. Now we'll hold the public forum. This is an opportunity to address the Greasetown Board on any issue of concern relative to the town of Greece. This is not a question and answer period, nor is it a time or place for commenting on previous applications that have come before the board. If you have a comment or question concerning an application, or if you'd like to provide the board with any type of paperwork, please leave it in the inbox located on top of the lectern. The clerk will obtain all documents after the meeting and disperse them to the town board accordingly. So, is there anybody who would like to address the town board?
So I've been waiting all day for this. First of all, I'd like to thank all the new board members and thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and hope that everybody else can keep all the comments in a positive and constructive manner so that we can all keep this town the way it has been, because it's been a very, very good place to live. And I've lived here over 70 years, so I don't want to say how old I am. Okay. But congratulations and thank you.
And Mr. Camiolo, if you could just for the record state your name and your address, if you don't mind.
Joe Camiolo, 447 Creighton Lane.
Okay.
Steve DiBattisto, 364 Island Cottage Road. I've lived there for 26 years. Good evening, members of the town board, town officials, and my neighbors. I live directly in front of the property being considered for a 4-story apartment complex at 354 Island Cottage Road. I am here tonight to respectfully urge you to stop this project. This land used to belong to the town, and now they want to put up a high-density development, which raises serious concerns for our community's character, safety, environment, and finances. First, this parcel was never offered for public sale. The town acquired it years ago specifically as green space, an open buffer that has served our neighborhood well. Turning it over to private development now contradicts its original purpose and sets a troubling precedent for how we treat public land. Second, a 4-story complex is out of scale with our area. There are no structures nearby even that approach this height. It will tower over existing homes, destroy privacy, and create significant light pollution from windows and exterior lighting that will spill into backyards, bedrooms every night. Third, serious safety concerns cannot be ignored. Our fire department has confirmed they lack the equipment, specifically ladder trucks, to reach the upper floors of a 4-story building. Adjacent to the site is a shooting range and a water treatment plant, both of which introduce additional risks. There are also no sidewalks on that side of the street, forcing future residents to walk in the road, an obvious hazard. The traffic is already heavy during school drop-off and pickup times. Adding to these units will only congest it, and it'll be dangerous for children and drivers alike. Fourth, the land itself is not suitable for development. It remains contaminated from prior uses and currently supports wildlife that our neighborhood values. Paving over green space and building on a contaminated soil is neither environmentally responsible nor safe for future residents. Finally, this project offers no benefit to the town because it's being built and operated by a nonprofit, will generate zero property tax revenue, will increase the demands of our roads, schools, emergency services, and infrastructure. If the developer needs to use the old police station road for access, who will maintain the road and pay for the wear and tear of the road? Members of the board, this project does not align with the town's character or the original plans for this land. I respectfully ask you to reject this project. Thank you.
Good evening, Ryan Murphy, 197 Old Country Road. I think Steve just summarized how everyone's opinions of this project have been. I know this is not a question and answer period. I do have two questions I am going to ask of you, and I hope you'll indulge me. First, has anyone up there heard of the Coastal Erosion Hazard Area Review Board? I will take that as a no.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the name, the Coastal Erosion?
Hazard Area Review Board.
No,
No?
I've not.
You have? Okay. In Greece, it was adopted or enacted into the town code in 1989 in a coexistence with Article 34 of New York State Environmental Conservation Law and Chapter 10 of Municipal Home Rule Law. What that does is it regulates construction and restricts public investment in services, facilities, activities which are likely to encourage new permanent development in hazard areas. Now, excuse me. This board has full authority as that board, given that it does not exist. And under New York law, when boards are disbanded, defunct, don't exist, town board has that authority to take over that role. That board has sole authority over areas that are shorefront, waterways, flood zones, things of that nature, and 83-7 permits required for certain activities. No person may engage in any regulated activities in erosion hazard areas as depicted on coastal erosion hazard area maps of the town of Greece, which again includes the FEMA flood zones. When it comes to variances, again, this would be something that the town board in these areas has sole authority over. Variances in the town of Greece are good for 6 to 12 months, same with permits. So any permit or variance that has been given to this Island Cottage project is now null and void. It is very strict on how the variances for these areas get them, and the first qualification is no reasonable, prudent alternative site is available. I think we proved in the original meetings on this, there are other potential sites. So here, town board has the authority to, again, hear, approve with modifications, or deny requests for variances, and they also have the authority to stop projects, do cease and desist, and require cease and desist. Basically, this 1989 Chapter 83 Greasetown Code gives you 100% authority over that project. Now, on another one, I'm going to leave a copy of this here for you It's also obviously on the town's website. So, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Brendan Bolson, 440 Shorecliff Drive. Good evening, board members. I have a simple request tonight, and it actually has to do with the board meeting minutes that are posted after the board meetings. Recently, at the past two meetings, they have been displayed online. When you go to click on them, they come up horizontal rather than vertical. Basically, the problem that can create is if you have it on your computer, want to type in a search word, normally you can kind of bounce from word to word to word. When it's horizontal instead, it won't do that anymore. So just a thought of, yeah, when you scan them in, try to make them so they look like a page. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, supervisor, congratulations. I have much further detailed documentation of what I'm going to speak of. Good evening. Unfortunately, Greece will not move forward without addressing the numerous loose ends left behind by the former town administration. I am one of those loose ends. My name is Brian Root, a father, a U.S. Marine, and former Greece police sergeant. 3 titles earned by my integrity. In 2021, former GPD Chief Forsyth decided to become highly intoxicated, expose himself in public, and multiple local high-ranking police officials walked him to his town-issued police vehicle. They decided he was okay to drive home through your streets, our streets. Ultimately, the GPD responded to an accident and failed to do the right thing. Investigate and arrest an intoxicated motorist, their chief. Simply put, body cameras and contacting an outside agency would have been a better answer that night. Instead, the intoxicated, injured chief was driven home. I was not involved in this incident, but following my integrity, morals, ethics, and oath to office, I intervened when I noticed a cover-up was afoot and who was involved. I preserved evidence that was undoubtedly going to be changed to allow the cover-up to be completed. I held on to this until the town started to lie to the media and all of you. The infamous picture was released to a retired GPD officer in an attempt to get it to DA investigators. After a botched independent investigation, I was the most severely punished. Sworn member of the department, receiving a 30-day suspension for being a whistleblower. A member directly involved in the cover-up that evening was just promoted to captain a couple of weeks ago. I tried to stay at the department, but retaliation was a weekly occurrence, so I contacted the state police and became a witness to the corruption that was growing in Greece. In August 2023, I met with that chief about my future with Greece. 1 week later, I was pulled into an orchestrated internal investigation. After deciding to leave the department to finish my career elsewhere, Chief Wood used his former position at DCGS to permanently decertify me as a police officer. I lost that battle and was forced to file a very expensive lawsuit that is costing all of you just as much money. Currently, there are multiple lawsuits regarding the GPD command staff and a state police report accusing a current GPD deputy chief of various things to include official misconduct and stalking. These members are still working, mentoring the junior officers and molding the future of your police department with not one external investigation being conducted. Policies that were used against me didn't change after I left, and nearly 30 FOIL requests haven't been honored in the last 2 years that will help me show the public that I was retaliated against. Again, I do come here in peace, not to badmouth everything that has occurred, but to share my story and ask for a private session with the new administration to come to a resolution with their loose end. I leave you with this. I leave the public with this. How do we ask for police reform when this is the way the police are treated when they stand up to corruption or try to do the right thing? Thank you for your time. Congratulations.
Not yet. Hi, I'm Laura DeConick. I'm at 1002 Long Pond Road. First, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Gurnett on that post on the Town of Greece page today. I really appreciated that photo and the instillment that people need to take their time around the snow plows. It was crazy. I work at the VA and people were crazy this morning. Second, I used Supervisor McCann, I used the website today to send an email, but I guess it wasn't received yet. And it wasn't quite as easy to use as I thought it would, because I had to copy the address into my own email instead of it being a direct link to send an email to the town, if that's something that could be improved upon. But what I wanted to ask to the council members is that what I'm looking for in this new council board members is that when something is on the agenda to have an additional expenditure, like in example number 13 is 2 additional persons to, I don't remember exactly which department it is. What was the reason behind needing 2 more people? Is it that there's an increased workload? Were there retirements? What's the reason before you blanket agree to further expenditures of our money? Thank you, everybody. Good luck to the board. I'm looking forward to the future of the town of Greece.
Hi, I'm Katie Farrell. I live at 382 McIntosh. I don't know if I'm able to bring this up now because this was just brought to my attention a couple days ago, the possible Delta Sonic going up to next to the Latta Wegmans. I'm sure it's been brought up in a previous board meeting, but I'm just, I guess, here to probably reiterate what you've already heard, some concerns. Like I said, I live in the area. I'm pretty close to this location, and many of my neighbors that I've talked to are also just learning of this project. So I don't know why that is. I saw it on the news, honestly, and I recognized the teacher that was being interviewed, so I reached out to her. But basically, just to reiterate, there's just what I'm hearing from my neighbors is there's ongoing concerns about the traffic, the noise, environmental impact, and it just being located so close to an established residential neighborhood. These current concerns aren't theoretical. They're based on what a high-volume gas station and car wash typically bring. I also want to mention that a resident petition is currently circulating. I believe there was already one that you've probably received, but there is another one. It's still active, but the comments I'm getting and the feedback are just reflecting concern about long-term impacts and the character of the area. Obviously, Greece is a big area. It's definitely changed since when I was a kid. And it's not about stopping development, but it's just about making sure the development is appropriate for its location and that residents are meaningfully being heard before these decisions are made. Also, didn't know about the Island Cottage thing. Can't say I'm thrilled about that either. Just, we want to keep Greece, Greece. I feel like it's turning into Henrietta. I really don't want to be living on West Henrietta Road where it's just all commercialized, and I don't know, just please take that into consideration. Thanks.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to address the town board? Okay, there being no other speakers, the public forum is now closed. We will continue with the rest of the agenda. Will the clerk please read the first item on the agenda?
Authorization to allow Eastman Kodak Company personnel to perform fire safety inspections on Eastman Kodak Company grounds within the town of Greece during calendar year 2026 in conformance with the Fire Code of the State of New York and applicable provisions of the Greece Town Code.
I second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilman Bernard. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item number 2, authorization to renew the contract with Kaplan Schmidt Electric for an additional one-year period at the same terms and conditions. This will be the third renewal of a possible 3 with a final expiration of January 31st, 2027. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 3, authorization to enter into various agreements with programs associated with the operation of the library. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilman Antelli. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 4, authorization to enter into various agreements for programs associated with the operation of the center. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
I move the following resolution.
Moved by Councilman Bernard, seconded by Councilman DePonzio. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 5, authorization to award catering services for events at the center to Forest Hill Catering, contract to end December 31st, 2026, with the option to renew up to 3 additional years. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, this was brought up at the agenda review meeting. My sister is in the process of buying Forest Hills Restaurant, and I appreciate the attorney giving guidance saying that it probably wouldn't be a conflict, but to err on the side of caution, so there is no any image of impropriety. I think it'd be best if I recuse myself from this vote.
Okay. Okay.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. Is there any other discussion? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then Councilman Bernard is abstaining.
Item number 6, authorization to renew the agreement with Phoenix Graphics to provide printing services from January 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2026. This is the third renewal of a possible 3. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
I move that we approve the following resolution.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bernard, seconded by Councilman Antelli. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 7, authorization to renew an agreement with Baratan ASL Interpretation Services to provide sign language interpreting services for the Greasetown Court for a period of January 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2026. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Councilman DePonzio. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 8, authorization to renew agreement with Edith Forbes to provide stenographic and transcription services for the Greasetown Court for a period of January 1, 2026 to December 31st, 2026. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
I'll move it.
I second.
Moved by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Councilman Bernard. Is there any discussion? Being none, all of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 9, authorization to extend the following contract for an additional year with no changes in pricing and contract terms. This will be the first of 4 possible renewals. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation. 2025 specifications for light and heavy vehicle spring and suspension repair with three-way spring located at 1609 Mount Reed Boulevard, 14606.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Councilman Antelli. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 10, authorization to install the following signage as recommended by the Traffic Advisory Committee. Stop signs on Manitoba Beach Road near Braddock's Avenue.
Moved by Councilman Antelli, seconded by Councilman DePonzio. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 11, authorization to declare fill, dirt, wood chips, leaf compost, asphalt, millings, and crushed concrete that town generates as surplus.
I second.
Moved by Councilman Antelli, seconded by Councilman Bernard. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 12, authorization to enter into an agreement with Animals First for animal shelter management software. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Antelli, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 13, authorization to appoint two full-time motor equipment operators effective January 17th, 2026.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilman Bernard. Let me just address one thing. We had discussed earlier people not able to attend the meeting, submitting questions. It's our intent to, as we get those questions before a meeting, to respond to them publicly. We have to figure out what our mechanism will be. I would assume we would have something up on our website with this, but given this is the first meeting where we've done this, I would like to ask Commissioner Gurnett, could you address the issue? I believe these are vacancies that we're filling.
Yes, sir, vacancies. Yep,
Okay.
filling vacancies.
And then just for the public consumption, as the budget is prepared, not that most of us were involved in the preparation of the 2025 budget, or 2026 budget. There is an analysis of existing positions that goes into every budget, and so based on past practices, past needs, that's why we're filling these this position on the agenda tonight. So just wanted to state that for the record. Is there any other discussion with this? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 14, authorization to make various adjustments and transfers to the 2026 budget. See attached.
I second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. Is there any discussion? If being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Item number 15, authorization to enter into a renewal agreement with Tri-Delta Resources for IT support services and offsite disaster recovery. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilman Antelli. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 16, authorization to enter an extension of the contract between the Town of Greece Police Department and Woody's Collision for vehicle collision and repair services for 2026. This is the fourth and final renewal. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all necessary documentation.
I move this resolution.
I second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Bernard, seconded by Councilman DePonzio and Councilwoman Miller. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 17, authorization to renew the agreement with UKG, formerly Kronos, for payroll support services for the Department of Public Works. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all related documents.
I move authorization of this resolution.
Okay, is there a second?
So moved.
Okay.
I mean, second, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Excuse me.
Moved by Councilman Bernard, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 18, authorization to accept the proposal from Public Employees Risk Management Association, PERMA, for workers' compensation insurance coverage for 2026. Further authorization for the supervisor to execute all related documents.
I move to approve this resolution.
Moved by Councilman Bernard, seconded by Councilman Antelli. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 19, authorization for designation of the Chief of Staff as the Town of Greece's delegate to the Association of Towns Annual Business Session to be held on February 14th to the 17th, 2026.
I second.
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilman Bernard. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
Item number 20, authorization for the issuance of a waiver of the 30-day notification and comment period on an application to the New York State Liquor Authority for a liquor license for Murph's Willow Inn LLC on property located at 428 Manitou Road, requested by 428 Manitou Road LLC.
Second?
Moved by Councilman DePonzio, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries. Okay, the next agenda review meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 12th at 5:30 PM, and the next regular meeting of the Greasetown Board is scheduled for Thursday, February 19th at 6 o'clock. We now stand adjourned.